We are live. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Welcome. How's everyone doing tonight? Good. Okay, the comments are up. Okay, good. Okay, we're rolling. Okay, so I figured we could start off by introducing ourselves. We have a lot of new faces. I'm really excited. We are getting together for FaRoFeb for fantasy romance. I mean, oh my gosh, that is just like my jam, and I'm so excited. So I won't talk this whole time. I'm going to just take it to Lacey and just introduce yourself and then also say what you're reading tonight. So we can kind of kick into that.
Okay. So I'm Lacey, Pwned by the Book on Instagram. Anyone that games probably gets that reference. If you don't, then there you go. Tonight I am actually going to be reading Temple of Sand, and that is the second book in Harriet Moore's series. She's the one that is running FaRoFeb. I've already read the first book, Queen of Empire, which I enjoyed enough to go right into the second one. So that's what I'm going to be finishing, hopefully, today. So moving on. You're next.
Okay. So I'm Christy, and I'm on Instagram at Christy Reads a Lot. And tonight I'm reading Entreat Me. I think it's the Beauty and the Beast retelling by Grace Draven. So I've only read like her Radiance one, the Friends of Lovers thing, and now I'm going to try her Beauty and the Beast one.
Good, Lacey.
See?
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Lacey. I'm on Instagram and YouTube, Lacey Book Lovers. And today I'm reading A Touch of Darkness by Scarlett St. Clair, which is my book club's fantasy romance read for this month.
I go by Neverland Pixie on Instagram, and I just talk about books all night long. And I will be reading A Game of Fate because Hades is book bae. I'm obsessed with his intelligence. You're gonna like Touch of Darkness. So I'm really excited about this one because I read the first two, so I'm here for it, and I'm ready for bae. So.
I'm ready for you to start a YouTube channel, girl. I'm like literally counting down the minutes so you like break down and we'll do one. Like, yeah.
It's starting to get to a point where like Instagram, I just ramble and I'm like, this is not the right platform for this. So maybe.
Yeah.
So, I'm Tori. I have a YouTube channel, Novel Life, and I'm on Instagram, Live a Novel Life. And today I'm reading Queen of Shadows by Sarah J. Maas.
This is a podcast.
Oh, I have a podcast too. I always freeze. I have a lot. Apparently now I'm like a TikToker now too. I have a TikTok too. You know, everything. But yeah.
and you have a little bit of something everywhere.
Right. And all these lovely ladies are in the description below. So please go follow them all, hang out with them a little bit. They're all fabulous. Before we start, you guys, I just wanted to let you guys know I was on the I saw the interview Saturday with Sarah J. Maas because I was like posting it everywhere. And one of the things they did in that interview was they allowed like, what are the comments to scroll? We all know the new Sarah J. Maas book is out, but people really felt enticed to give spoilers in the comments. So I was like, okay, so I know her new book's out. I know none of you guys would give spoilers, but there's no spoilers. I just wanted to throw that out there. It was just the strangest thing. I would do this. They were doing this interview and like people were people hadn't even gotten their book yet. And they're doing spoilers all up and down it. I was just like, no, you don't do that. Oh my goodness. So, okay. So I was just throwing that out there. I know you guys didn't have any spoilers, but have you guys read her new book? Has everybody read it on the panel so far?
You know that I haven't. I have my copy, but I haven't read it yet because I've been just focusing on all the fantasy books from the new authors that I've picked up for this month specifically. So next week I'm starting it. That's like the first book that I'm going to. I'm ready.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I think everybody, and then the five of us have read it. So but I know that not a lot of people have gotten to it yet. So yeah, just throwing that out there. Also, the Ravishing Romance Book Club, I'm reading their book right now for my book I'm reading today, A Touch of Darkness by, oh my gosh, you guys, is it Claire? St. Clair?
Yeah.
Am I close?
Scarlett St. Clair.
Thank you, Scarlett St. Clair. So I will be listening to that. But I wanted to ask you guys, how long do you want to read tonight? Because I may have a game after this. Like, I may have planned a game.
Curious now.
What do you think? Like, you guys want to read for 20 minutes, 25 minutes, or 30 minutes? What are you guys thinking for reading wise?
I'm good with anything.
Yeah.
You guys are good with anything? Okay. So we're going to probably read for 20 minutes because I want to hang out with you guys. Like, I don't get out a lot. Let's be real. Like, I do not get out a lot. And I just, But just to let Charles know, it will be a Sarah J. Maas game. So you really want to stick around for this. I'm just going to throw that out there. So I'm very excited about this game. Do you guys, you want to talk a little first, or you guys want to jump into reading? What do you guys want to do? I don't care. I'm like,
I want to know about this game. So I can figure out.
Yeah, you can tease us a little bit about it.
It's one of the, so it's I can't even say it because it will give the game away. So it's literally it's questions you guys will have to answer. Let's just say
heroes involved.
Some of them, yes.
Okay.
Yes. So it's just questions you'll have to answer, and it'll be a lot of fun, I think. It's not anything spectacular, but I figured it'd be fun for a night of just hanging out with your girls and boys and hanging out and reading. So what do you guys, so 20 minutes, you think? 20 minutes is good?
Yeah.
And then do you guys, really fast though. How have you guys been this week? Good?
Yeah, and I really love FaRoFeb, all the new authors. It's just been it's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun. So thank you for having me.
Right. Lacey mentioned a couple of them. Lacey, I met at Sarah J. Maas, Lacey. She mentioned a couple of them. Have you guys met any new or run into any new authors from this FaRoFeb?
I have, yeah.
Yeah.
Who were some of them?
One, let's see, which I've had, I read Grace Lee Knox, Mark of Truth. I actually read the second book too, Crown of Betrayal, which is funny because I've had these books on my shelves, like signed by her for years. And I was like, oh my God, she's part of this. And I have yet to read it. You know how we are, we get like so many books and God knows how long some of them sit before we get to them. So I'm like, this is a good way for me to finally read some of these books, Another one was Amanda Bouchette. I don't know how she pronounces it. I got this in my Bay Crate box. And so I was like, well, hell, I'm going to read this too. And this was amazing. I loved this book. It was so good. I just went straight through it and wanted to go right to the next one, but then I felt guilty and I wanted to keep reading a few more authors that I hadn't read. So I was like, I'll go to the second one later. Let's see. And then Jeffy Kennedy. I read her The Golden Griffin and the Bear Prince.
I'm taking notes.
That was really good. The cover is amazing. That's like what initially got me because it was just so pretty. And I just really liked it. It was very unique and definitely held a lot of romantic elements in it. And actually, I know that the next book coming out is featuring some of the secondary characters. So that makes me excited as well. Yeah. And then H.R. Moore.
Me too. H.R. Moore, the Relic trilogy. I love her whole system.
It's really different, right? I was like, I couldn't stop reading it simply because it was just so intriguing. It was so unique. Didn't know where it was going. A lot of angst too. So
yeah. And this whole affirmation that we're all connected, the energy element, I liked that. So
yeah, I in the second book, I'm like, I want to say 75-ish% in.
Okay.
I don't know. Have you gotten to the second one yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
not gonna lie. I won't spoil anything. I totally had a moment though where I wanted to toss my Kindle on the table. And Jason walked in. Oh, what happened? And I'm like, not gonna talk about it. So it definitely has picked up in the second book.
Oh,
even more.
Has any of you other guys have run into new authors? Like anything that you guys have Tori, you're just reading, well, I don't think Sarah J. Maas is a new author for you, but this is the first time you're reading Throne of Glass. I mean, are you enjoying that so far? Or are you allowed to say? Because I know you're doing
No, I can talk about it. It's not like that. So I've been like so involved. So the first book was like, but like for me, Akatar, the first book was the same way. I was like, you have to get it going. Like it's a fantasy,
Right.
You have to build it. And so I knew it would pay off. So I finished like Heir of Fire in like a day, and that destroyed me. Like I filmed like a clip from my vlog, and I was screaming at my like camera because I was like, I cannot believe this happened. Like just the whole thing. Like I don't know if anyone else. I feel like I'm the last person on earth to read Throne of Glass.
No,
but
I'm reading it with
No,
you.
I still haven't read
I
it.
still haven't read it.
But after Over Flames, well, before that, I was like, should I just, screw my TBR and read this? And, people were like, do it. So I was like, okay. I got through, A Court of Silver Flames because I wanted to read that. And I'm like, now I'm going to start it. And this, like, series has consumed my life. Like, I work from home, and I didn't do anything yesterday. I read all day yesterday, like, literally all day at work. I did stuff for, like, an hour and a half in the morning and an hour and a half at night, and that was it. I, like, devoured everything. And I've, like, only have 200 pages left of Queen of Shadows. And I'm just like, oh my God, there's so much happening. And I have like part 1 and part 2. So like the last 3 books are its own separate thing, but I don't know if I can stop. Like I was going to give myself a couple days to like finish up February TBR. And I don't even know if I can do that. I think I might just like, screw and keep reading and see how far I get. It's really good. It's just, I like world building like that. But there's an author that I found, I had to look her up. She wrote Elise Kova. She wrote A Deal with the Elf King.
Ooh.
And I think I got that from Crystal Bookish Life. And I think this one is more like kind of like a Hades and Persephone, not retelling, but there's like similar aspects. And then I found it's Rhapsodic by Laura Thalassa.
Oh, I love that series.
I don't even know how to say it. I don't even know why I'm trying.
I'll send you them later. But they're really, really, that series was really good. I devoured like all 3 of those books in like a weekend. Like I didn't leave my bed. It was just me and my Kindle. I was like, Beyonce, you got to handle everything else. I can't do it. I got to read this series.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I remember when I get into a book, like it consumes, like when people were talking to me, I'll like daydream about that book. Like you'll lose me if that book I'm like, it's dangerous to my life. Like if I'm not invested in a book. So yeah, no, I totally get where you're at. So yeah, no, those are good ones. I really liked the what was that one with the Radiance? What was it?
Radiance, Grace by Grace Draven.
Yeah, she's so good. Honestly, she's yeah, I love her to death. Like she's amazing. Lacey that has 11,000 subscribers. What new authors have you found? Because girl, I know you have found your channel's amazing, so that's why you have 11,000 subscribers. But like, what have you found? Like, what have you found? Have you found anybody? Have you oldies?
Well, the past week I spent it reading the new Sarah J. Maas, so I haven't really been reading that much fantasy.
Right.
Like I've been reading old authors, like nothing really new, but I think Scarlett St. Clair so far is the only one new for me.
Yeah.
I started it today or last night. I'm still in the beginning, but I'm really liking it.
So we're like right at the same spot.
Yeah,
okay, good. She's getting into trouble. Let's just say that. And then I think Christy was the only one left. Have you found anybody new this month?
Well, Scarlett St. Clair, actually, I read that one for their pick at the beginning of this month. So she was a new author for me.
Yeah, that I mean, honestly, I'm so Jen from the Book Graph, you asked if H.R. Moore was going to continue with like fantasy romance. And I'm like, I hope she does. She mentioned that she was going to, but like continue with like having either a month for it or like dedicating some time to it. So it's like, I almost want a convention. Like we need to somehow get together with like somehow Sarah J. Maas, Jennifer L. Armentrout, all the big ones to do fantasy romance and get their butts together and do some sort of convention just for fantasy romance. I mean, I think I'd die happy woman that way. Like,
I love that because I found so many, like even authors that I've read. Like I was reading Stacey Reed. I didn't know that she had an entire Emma series, which is like a parallel universe to Earth. I mean, if you like historical, there's like, you know, kings and kingdoms, and I had no idea that she wrote that. So like I've been so interested in finding like not only like new authors or authors that I've read and seeing like everything else that's in their backlist, so I can read it this month. So I would love if it continued, even if it was just like a feature a month or something.
Right.
It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, I just love that she is making people aware that this is a genre people want to be a part of. Like, this is people want to read this. Like, when I go into my fantasies, I'm like, there better be a good romance. Like, I love a good plot, but there better be freaking romance somewhere in there. Like, there better, like, I don't even care if it's well, I do care if it's a secondary. If it's secondary, I'm sad, but there better be something that draws me along. Like, I don't want to be the sinking at the bottom of the ship by myself.
No, and indie pub. Like I want like indie authors too. I'm finding it's just I'm happy. My TBR is screaming, but that's okay. It always is.
Oh my gosh. Christy, what did I send you today? That one where the guy like stopped looking at his TBR. He was walking along, like,
yeah, just like a black hole of TBR.
Right. We don't even look at that anymore. We pretend that doesn't exist.
Endless TBR.
Right. We just keep adding to it. Okay.
Yep.
Well, I think we'll read for 20 minutes because I want to hang out with you guys. I've got our game that you guys can hang out with me for. And this game is for everybody in the comments as well. But okay, so 20 minutes. We will get together at what is that? 36. Well, actually that's 30. Yeah. I'm at 6:36, but 9:36 Tori's time. And yeah, we'll get back together. We'll play a little game and hang out for a little bit and have a nice Tuesday night, I guess. So
sounds good.
All right. See you in 20. All righty. Hey guys. Okay.
Hello.
How's everybody doing? How was that? Did you get some good reading in?
Oh, I'm like at 84%. I'll be done with this definitely before the end of the night. So I'm like excited.
Nice.
Also nervous. I haven't looked to see when the next one comes out. So I'm like, wonder how it's gonna end.
You're always questioning if the author is just going to leave you hanging. Like, I just imagine those cliffhangers, where you're just like literally hanging out there when it's like done and you're like, oh, great. And then there's another 2 years or a year or 6 months or whatever. But, yeah. Fable ended up doing that to me. It's okay. It's coming out in March. I'm okay. So how was your other reads? How did everybody else do?
I think Tiffany was having a good time.
No, it's nice to get Hades' perspective, and Aphrodite's just messy. I'm just like, but yeah.
My book was like tearing my heart out.
Did any of you guys, was there any twists or turns, or it's kind of just like I know where Tori's at in hers. There's got to be a lot going on. What are you, like 20% at the end of yours?
Yeah, like that's all I have left.
Right.
And I have no words. I don't know. I'm just like, I don't want to say anything, but like I'm at a part where I'm like, this can't be happening right now. I don't know how many times I'm gonna say that, because at the end of every Sarah J. Maas book, she always does that. But yeah, I'm gonna finish it tonight.
Throne of Glass was what I started with, ironically, not not the other one, not ACOTAR, but yeah. And did you start with the first book, or did you read the novellas first?
So I didn't know that the novella was like I thought it was just like extra, like a prequel. You could read it, but you don't have to. But I have it coming. Like I ordered it, but it hasn't gotten here yet. So I want to read that as soon as it gets in. But I wasn't gonna wait in between to read the third book to wait for that to come. I was like, no, I gotta keep
Right.
I honestly kind of feel like if I hadn't read those first, that I probably wouldn't have been as obsessed with, because you said you were kind of about the first book, whereas I really loved it, but I read the novellas first.
Okay.
Because I remember I read like the first 2 pages of Throne of Glass and I was like, what? This is kind of interesting how it's starting. So then I realized there were the novellas. And so I ordered that and then read those all first and then went back into it. So I think it definitely like made it more like, whoa, the first book for me.
And I know I'm not going to ruin anything for Christy, because I know Christy hasn't read it yet. But like, you're lucky, Tori, because on one of those books, she leaves you totally hanging. Like, was it book 5 or something? Then she wrote book 6, which has nothing to do with book 5. And then you got to know what happened in book 7. So what was that? Do you guys know? Was that like 4 years? Or no, 3 years? 3 years, because then she like traded off with the Court of Thorns and Roses. But yeah, she left you totally hanging after the Empire Storm. You'll see. Like,
I like this whole thing with like cliffhangers. I don't mind them in books, but like From Blood and Ash, like A Kingdom of Flesh and Fire, I am like dying for the next book.
Yes.
I hate going into series like not having it finished, because I just know what happens. And now we know like a lot of fantasy romance authors, sometimes they wait, like Sarah J. Maas, they wait a year or two because they mix series. So now
the nice thing about Jennifer L. Armentrout, though, she writes so fast.
I didn't realize that. She came out with From Blood and Ash and The Kingdom of Fire last year, because I got From Blood and Ash and I thought I'd have to wait, and then I realized it was already out. I was like, oh hell yes.
I thought I was gonna have to wait, and then it was like I read the first one like the first day it came out, and I was like, I'm gonna have to wait like a year, and then it came out like 6 months later. Yeah. So it wasn't too bad, but it was still like a wait.
I hope that she continues with this 6 month thing, because 6 months isn't that bad.
I think the next one's April.
Yeah.
I think she has another one coming out in November. I could be wrong, but I think it's November.
See,
I'm really glad that I haven't read any of those yet, and I just ordered the whole like special edition trilogy from Bookish Box. Makes me happy hearing that. So
I ordered that.
We'll have all of them.
I've learned from Jennifer L. Armentrout, though. I was back when like White Hot Kiss days, and back when like, and I'm still waiting for Storm and Fury to wrap up, but like, yeah, I got left hanging over there. And then her other one, what was it? The Queen of something. And she just finished that up, and like she left me hanging. So I'm like, this series, I'm waiting till it's done. I've not read that book yet. I've learned from her. She's fabulous. I love her. If you guys don't know Jennifer Armentrout, go buy her books. They're fabulous. But maybe buy like the complete series, so then you don't have to keep waiting.
She does keep adding more books to the series. I feel like there's supposed to be 4, but apparently there's more than that.
There's like
and she's writing a spin-off, like a prequel spin-off.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Right. And I'm here for it. Like, honestly, and she's having her movie come out. I totally forgot.
What, Wicked or something?
Wicked.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the series. Oh my gosh, you guys. Okay, so the first part of the Wicked series, I was like, this is okay. But she did a spin-off to that was just like mind-blowing. I was just like, whoa, I gotta get the names of those. If anybody in the comments knows the series, the spin-off was amazing. I just loved it. Okay, so in honor of my girl SJM, we have a little game. Like it's more of a, if you guys are in the comments, you could play along, or you could just say, hey, they had the best answer. So between all of us, we're going to say who had the best answer. I just have some questions. Real fast though, everybody has read Sarah J. Maas in who's on the live right now? Everybody's read her. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming
Maas shirt.
Yeah, right. I'm like,
and this is Sarah J. Maas too. We're gonna share my computer, and then I'll show you my entire like collection over here.
Right. I swear, because we're cult followers. Like me and Lacey. I met Lacey in the line of Sarah J. Maas. We were going to the what is it?
Kingdom Ash tour. That's what it was.
Right. We met on the Kingdom Ash, and she was in line in front of me, and we just started talking because I'm that person. So
I love it.
No, that was a long time ago now.
Right.
And,
what, like 4 years ago?
Anyway, I don't even know. A couple years.
Okay. So you guys, first question. Okay. So this is, you got to go because it's more of like what you think. Okay. If you got a book tattoo of Sarah J. Maas, something in her book collection, what tattoo would that be?
We talked about this briefly. I mean, when we were in line, there was a girl that had the whole, before I even saw any concepts, because you guys know that obviously in the past couple of years, bookish art was blown up everywhere. But before that, like I had seen someone that actually had like, Feyre's whole moon tattoo down her whole back in the line for KOA for that tour. And I was like, I've always wanted to do that. And I've seen it in person. Of course, now I see it in art, but like, I always thought that would be neat.
Like,
okay.
Yeah, she had her whole back done. She was hardcore. But like, if you guys were going to get a tattoo, it could be small, it could be big, or you think you'd want it. What do you think? Where would you guys?
I'd want her water wolf, because I think like water is valuable, and that was really a poignant moment where it was like she really had to like reach inside herself and risk something, because she had accepted that this is home. These are my people. This is where I belong. So I'd probably get a water wolf for those down moments in life where I need to be reminded of that.
You know what I like about that is that when Carrie and I were talking about this yesterday, I mentioned that no one talks about that scene. And I was like, that is like, to this day, one of the best fight scenes I have ever read.
It's so and it's so like accepting your place, your path, like, and like, you can do this. Like, it was just, so I'd probably get the water wolf.
Man,
she just became vicious, Right? It was so good.
I was like, get him! And she like catapults, like that part was so sick. It was so
good.
Anybody else? What do you think? Is this too hard of a question? Did I start off with a harder question?
Yeah. I feel like I'm like a basic bitch and would just go with a quote.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of something like more artistic, but that's not me. But like, I think because I'm reading Throne of Glass, Heir of Fire was, for me personally, it was like really touching. And when they have, I don't say who, but there's a quote that's like, to whatever end. I think that and that's from the Throne of Glass series. I know everyone has like ACOTAR quotes and stuff like that, but for me, that means more than just like romantic, more than just like friendship. It truly means like you still recognizes another person, and I really, really like that quote. Like just I wanted a mug with that quote.
I cried.
I would get that tattoo.
Yeah, no, that's a good one. That would be like, you guys, I'm writing these down because someday I'm going to get tattooed, so I need to know what I'm going to get. So I'm logging these right now.
I'm definitely with Tori on that because that's like one of my favorite quotes. Yeah, like I cried during Heir of Fire. I loved that so much because they are just, well, of course, like I said, I read that before ACOTAR. So Throne of Glass was my introduction to Sarah J. Maas. And then I read the next series. So like Rowan and Aelin, like how they are always just so intricately entwined and are constantly always there, do or die. They're just, yeah, I really love that quote too. It's a good one.
What do you think, other Lacey?
Well, since I've only read her ACOTAR series, I would get a quote. I already have like a bookish quote tattoo anyway. So I would
really? What do you have? Do you mind me asking?
It's Cassandra Clare.
Oh.
I forgot which book it was. But we live and breathe words.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So I would get like that super popular quote from Mist and Fury, I think. Like to the stars who listen, the dreams, that one.
That's
a good one.
That's my second one. That was gonna be like, if I wouldn't have read Throne of Glass and I would have picked that one.
Yeah.
What do you think, Christy? What do you think?
Well, I think I would go like everybody's going like inspirational quotes, and I think I would just do like the whole arm thing that FaRo gets, like when they do their deals and bargains, like just look super cool, you know. That's what I would do.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. That'd be bomb. I'm not gonna lie though, I might do the mountain with the 3 stars just for the fact that Reese went on his knees. I was just like,
I thought about that too.
And it's not quite as big, not as big as
like a little one,
as
like
an arm sleeve.
Right.
I do some henna like that, you know, for
Yep.
Absolutely. Okay. That was really good. That was supposed to be the warm-up question, so I'm a little concerned now, guys.
Oh my God, Karen.
Okay. If you could pick any any of her world, if you could pick anyone to be in one of her worlds, who would you be? Like you could pick anybody to be in her worlds. And people in the comments, you guys could comment too. Like if there's anybody you like, it could be like the swirl in the first series, like anybody in her worlds.
Ooh. Definitely not me. Sorry, I have issues with it.
You know what? I'll go first because I got to think about these, and then you guys can. I'm not gonna lie. I'd pick Freya. I'm not gonna even go down that road and try to pick someone small because she's got everybody's power. So I'm like, I'm just gonna pick someone easy and be like, I'm nabbing her because she can do Tamlin. She can do blah 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 blah. Okay, so hopefully that's not a spoiler for everybody. I'm so sorry if it is, but yeah, that's probably who I would pick.
Okay. I think I would probably choose, Amryn or Lysandra.
Oh,
Amryn. Yeah.
I mean, Amryn is, I love her. She's really intense and everyone's afraid of her. You know, but she's like super loyal. And then I feel like Lysandra is the same, you know, she is just always there, always. Like I really was really surprised by her character in the Throne of Glass series and glad that she was so just up in Aelin's face and always there for her. So
yeah,
I liked the little I can't remember what she was in Crescent City, the little like the main girl's little helper friend, like in the was she like a little
That was my favorite character in that book.
Yep, I'd pick her. I forgot her name, but yeah. A little fire sprite.
She's cute. What do you think, Lacey?
I have to pick Amryn.
Oh, sorry, Tiffany.
Oh, sorry. No. I didn't do it. I know this sounds evil, but just for like a day, I don't know if I'd want to do like the killing part, but I would like to know what it would be like to be the Weaver because she is such a long lifetime. So I want to know. I would want to be able to like know what it's like to live that long and to like have like everyone leaves her alone. Okay, she's got the best trove of like treasures throughout eons of time. Like people respect. You know what I'm saying? So like I would just like to know what that would be like for a day, but I wouldn't like the whole like sewing bit. I mean, maybe if I was like epically beautiful, so I just would want to know. You know what I mean? But yeah, I know that sounds crazy, but
No, that's kind of cool.
Seriously, that character was really creative.
right? She's
Really was. So there, yeah.
What do you think?
I was
Lacey?
actually going to say Hellion. Carolyn said that in the comments. Just
Right.
because of his Pegasus, like his flying horse. I would love to be able to have that and a whole ranch of horses, a whole
Yes.
ranch of Pegasus.
What do you think, Tori?
I think like this is gonna sound so weird, but like as much as I'd want to be like FaRo or like Aelin, like super powerful, like super strong women, I would want to be Rowan. And I maybe I say that because I'm only like halfway through the series, but what I know so far, I just feel like just to be him for a day, because he's kind of like Reese in the way that he's lived a long time and he's been through all this stuff, and I just feel like they're different characters, and I just would like to be Rowan for a day.
That's a good one. You forget, like, we're picking all women, but you could pick men too. So that was a good one. And you picked Hellion, and Hellion is also male as well. So I'm not thinking so straight right now.
We have more of him.
Right.
In the book.
So my next question: what court do you, if you could pick a court to belong to in a court of thorns and roses, what court would you belong to? Just off the top of your head, like, this is my court.
Night.
What do you guys think?
Night court.
Night court. Okay.
I think that's what everyone would say normally, and yeah, I go with that for Reese. But I mean, if I went by what I would probably enjoy the most, it'd probably be winter.
Winter. Okay. Winter. That's okay.
I love winter. I like the cold.
Any
I
different
think
one?
I would go
Polar
with
bears.
summer.
Summer court. That's a good
Yeah.
one.
I actually think autumn would be fun too. Like they have a lot of crazy wild stuff going on, but like toss man, I'll join them.
Right. I'm not gonna lie, you guys. I probably would pick the Dawn Court, and this is why: because of the Pegasus, and because he's got all those friggin' libraries. I'd be just like chilling with all the libraries, being like, "Okay, I'm good. I'll see you guys when I see you."
I'd probably put that too. And isn't he kinky? Like he likes men and women. Yeah, so they seem like liberal and like
They're very open.
That's why I was thinking the night court, because I was like in the autumn court, they're too like regressive towards women for me, and I'm trying to get caught up over there.
Right.
But maybe like, yeah, I didn't even think about that.
I
So
might
yeah, do that too.
what court is what is his name? Tarquin?
I know, that's what I was just thinking. Tarquin. Yeah.
Is
Tarquin Summer Court.
Loved
I
him.
think summer.
I would want to spend like time with him. He seems pretty cool.
Yeah,
I
I
can
really like
see you guys together. No joke. Like, I can see like you and the characters together. Like, that would be a good match. Like. So, okay, next question, guys. I feel like if I'm asking too many questions, I'll wrap it up. I promise. Okay, I'll do a fun question. Fun question. If you were mated to anybody, who would be your mate?
Reese.
Done.
I mean, easy answer.
Ooh.
You could pick anybody.
Oh, God.
I mean, Cassian was pretty great, so
Yeah,
he was surprisingly, yeah. I won't say much, but yeah.
probably Azriel. Like I would want to be like, but like if I was thinking if who I would call to, would probably put like Azriel. I think Azriel.
Right.
Yeah.
Tori, what do you think?
I think I was trying to
You
Try
could
to
pick
the
Throne of
main-
Glass too.
3. I'm not gonna do Throne of Glass. But 3 is just Reese, Asriel, and Kaz. And I think that for me, after finishing A Quarter Silver Flames and reading Asriel's chapter, like the extra chapter, I just you get a little bit more
Of him.
Yeah, you see his thoughts, and I'm like,
Okay, so Tori, different question for you now. Okay, if you had to marry someone, kill someone, and what was it? And have sex with someone, who would those 3 be out of those 3? What would you do?
Ooh, I would kill Paz. As much as I love him, like, okay. I think I would marry Azriel and I would F Reese. Like, come on.
Okay, we have the same agenda here. That's good. I was curious what our agenda was, but we're the same. Okay.
Oh man, I'm opposite of that. I mean, well, I would kill Cass, and then I would Azriel and marry Reese. But if I were mating, it would have to be Lucian or Reese for me.
And Lucian's from Thona.
Lucian.
Wait,
No,
Lucian.
right.
I love him.
Okay.
I really feel for that boy. I feel he's been
Okay.
mistreated and deserves the world. So
He does.
Okay, so I'm gonna wrap it up with one more question because I feel like I'm just giving you guys, unless you want me to keep going with questions, and I can. But okay, favorite heroine. If Sarah J. Maas had to kill two, and you can only save one of these heroines, which heroine would you save? We've got Bryce, we got Freya, and we got Aelin. Which one would you save? And I know some people haven't read either one of the other series, but for the people who've read all three series, what would you do with that? Who would you, you can only save one. Who would you save?
Feyre.
Bryce for me. I actually really like her. So
I would say Aelin, but yeah. Like, yeah.
What do you think, Lacey?
Well, I haven't read Throne of Glass.
Yeah,
So between Feyre and Bryce, I would choose Feyre.
Tiffany, did you answer already? Sorry.
No, I haven't read anything but
the Court of Thorns. Okay. And then for me, I read all three, and I don't know Bryce well enough yet, so it's going to be default Feyre. But if I feel like if book 2 comes out and I really like Bryce, then bye Feyre. I like Bryce. So okay, let me see. So other people are saying Bryce, and then one was like, or Brooke was like, I can't choose between Bryce or Aelin. Yeah, that's a hard one. Okay, so if you guys had a power, one power in all these courts, what would you be your power? Like you can telepathy, see the future, water wolves, whatever that would be. What would you want to do?
I would want the shape-shifting capabilities. I mean, fly. I could go any fucking place I wanted. I mean, that's what I would choose. Traveling purposes.
that gives you everything though, because then you can shapeshift into whatever you need at the time. That's
right. Yeah. I think for me, it was more like, I want to see the future. I want to be a seer. Like, I want to know what's happening on the line. I'm not patient. I want to know. Like, if SJM is coming out with a new book, I want to know what's in that.
I don't know. It's a lot of responsibility, though, if you see the future.
I know. But it's like, she only gets pieces. So it's kind of like, it's like a faulty, I don't know. Is it really a good thing? Like, you get like two waving, a black raven and a white raven are coming for you, but you're like, what do you do with that? What do you guys think?
I think I would do Reese and Feyre's like their mind thing. Yeah. Yep.
That's what I was gonna say.
I was gonna say that too.
Intelligence that like touch their mind.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep.
I'm like, I'm already analytical and dramatic as it is. So being a seer, I'm off my rocker. Like I'm already like in that realm. So I would want that ability. She'd always be like growing and learning, and yeah, I'd want that. That's just sick.
See, no one's mentioned yet, like winnowing,
yes.
Winnowing, yeah, no one's mentioned that yet. Like get from point A to point B, like super fast.
I'm kind of curious about Az's powers, like his shadows. Like, I don't know what he's doing, but it's doing something for him.
And the only thing about his shadows is like, I don't know if I need them like talking to me all the time. Like, you know what I mean? Like, like I don't know, I like that. Like he has that kind of like counsel, like it's constant counsel. But Like, I already have that going on. Show it. Yeah. I really do. It's a lot.
Tori, what do you think?
No, I would do the, like, now that we mentioned, I forgot Azrael had the shadows thing, but like, I feel like recent Faris power, where they have the Italian thing, where they have your mind, I feel like that is very similar to the shadows. We don't really know that much about it, so either one of those.
Okay, last question, guys, because I'm like, okay, well, I feel like I could like talk about this forever, but okay, maybe last 1.5. We'll say this: if you could design a new cover for Sarah J. Maas, would you? And what would it be?
I mean, obviously, Coda Silver Flames. I needed to match the other three. Like, I can't deal with this cover.
Yeah, I don't know anyone personally that likes that cover. So, yeah, I think I mentioned it. I don't know if it's Gemlin C Creations, but she did. I think it was her. She did like one that was just like Nesta, kind of similar to the original covers, like with her dress. And it was really pretty. I'm like, why don't I have that cover?
Yeah.
What the heck?
Yeah.
Like, I get it. I get the cover. I get where they were going. But like execution was like shit.
I know. Right. I mean, even
I
the
feel bad
colors.
for the artist. Like, I feel bad for the artist because
Me too.
no one
Like, on its own, it's fine. You know, it's interesting.
Okay,
But
let's
I don't know
if
pretend
they were going for adult, they did adult fine with Crescent City. Like, I don't know why they couldn't have done some illustrated thing like
I
that.
don't know why they didn't have a focus group. That went through so many yeses.
Yeah.
Right?
So many
Like,
yeses.
here's the thing, though. Let's pretend we just changed the colors. Like, it wasn't great in orange. What if it was like different colors? Maybe
Exactly. That's my top tier.
Isn't there like a neon green one for a previous book?
Yeah, well, you guys, look at what she did with Crescent City. Like, that cover was bomb. Like, that cover was
I love that
I
one.
love the cover. It's gorgeous.
that cover is gorgeous.
I don't know. A Quarter Silver Flames looks like a Mardi Gras mask to me. Like,
It
that's
does.
all I see. And I'm like, why? Like,
Mhm.
why is it orange? That has nothing to do with it. Like, even if you just did a solid color, like, you don't need all the little like thingies. I don't know.
Well, she could have done that design on the dang dress. So it could have been Nesta on a dress and that design on the dress. So it wasn't like she couldn't incorporate.
They know what we want. I want Nesta in armor, standing there in a power position. Like, it's not that hard. Like,
Right.
it has to be like unique
Oh,
here. You wouldn't
And she
ostracize
can have her
me.
mask on or whatever, you know. We're not getting spoiled. Yeah.
Like, give us that one scene. Like, just give us the cool scene.
Any-
Yeah.
Great.
Like, I feel like the mask, I mean, it wasn't like, it's a thing, but like the sword, any of the swords, like a weapon, that would have been cool. Like, so much better.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Right.
So simple. So simple.
And it would have been phallic. People would have loved that.
Okay. So my last question to you guys, this isn't a spoiler question, it's just a question. Should Tamlin have a redemption arc?
Oh,
No.
God. I don't want to read that crap.
I
We
want
already
him.
had it.
Okay,
had it.
different opinions. We'll take it one at a time.
You
Go
know,
ahead, Tiffany. You
I
go
feel
first.
bad for him by book 3. Carrie and I were talking about this. Like, I fucking hated him. At the beginning, well, not at the beginning, but you know what I mean? Like, when he did what he did to Sarah, whatever. But by book 3, when he's all pathetic and just like,
Yeah.
I feel bad for him. It's like, poor guy, you know?
I would be willing to read a good chunk of a book that's dedicated, because I think aside from like my annoyance with him, I don't want a whole book. But I think that it would be a great example of like, because there are a lot of people that struggle with toxic masculinity and being confused and being self-righteous. And it would be nice to see that exemplified. How do you model coming out of that and growing and being better? I think it would be important to have that. But I don't want a 700-page book about Tamlin.
So this is what I'm hearing. Like, you do a novella, like something that's 200 pages, real quick. And then we hear like, because it's one of those things that it's kind of like Tamlin's done his thing. And now it's like, we're ready for other things. But if she ended up doing a book what kind of book do you think it would be enough for a book? Do you think like people would ride along with Tamlin? Like, you don't think so?
I think a novella would be plenty.
Not,
Like,
novella is
a short book, like the last one.
Yeah.
Or
Elaine.
100 or so pages, short
Yeah,
novella.
100%.
I'm of the opinion though with Tamlin in particular. I mean, you can call him like a villain, but he's like not the typical like villain. He's just,
Right.
you know what I mean? And I think that when an author makes a character like that, it takes a lot to have a redemption arc. And I think for me, it would be pointless to have a true like redemption arc. I think that she could do something completely different, that he can be redeemable in some people's eyes. He can also stay the way he is to some people. And I think that she can put that in between whatever books that are coming or give him like a novella. But I think that the whole, I couldn't read a 758 page book of Tamlin being Tamlin and having a pity party. I can't. I
don't think he would need a book. I mean, I think that like he could just have a piece in the book, just like he does in the previous ones, where he's in there a chapter here, a chapter there, and it leads into him not being totally hated by the end of the series.
Yeah,
because in some ways, in a lot of ways,
because he went through a lot of abuse. That's where it came from.
Christy, what do you think? I know you're sitting quiet over there. I'm like, I know there's thoughts going on in your head.
No, I just kind of agree, like with everything. Like I can see her doing a redemption arc for him. Like I don't really care about reading it, but I'd read it, but like I don't care if she ever gets to it. But like, yeah. I mean, I didn't really like him in the first book. So.
And then Tamlin, obviously.
It's funny that you guys are saying that, because when SJM did her interview, when someone mentioned to her about Tamlin having a redemption arc,
who the hell did that?
Okay, her face was like, oh no. Her face was like this. No, like flat out, like Tamlin is not getting a redemption arc. Like, she does not like Tamlin. Like she does not like him, and it's just funny to get like the author's perspective, because you could tell, like when the person asked, she was just like, "No, this isn't."
Who asked that?
It's pretty obvious.
Yeah. So, but there was some things in the interview I wanted to pass along. The first one is if you read the new book, she said there's a ton of breadcrumbs in there for future stuff. So if you're reading it slowly and carefully, she said she left a lot of breadcrumbs in there for like future things. I have no idea what she's talking about. I don't even know what the breadcrumbs are, but they're there. And then in the interview, she said there's a lot of breadcrumbs in the interview, which I wish you guys had someone wiser, because I didn't see any breadcrumbs in the interview. They're there.
I need to hire her PR people for my life, because it seems like she tread the line in that life, which I don't blame her. Shoot. But I mean, there's so many things. Elaine in the gardens.
I know.
Everything's a breadcrumb to me. Alex, yeah. Go ahead, Tiffany. Sorry.
No, Elaine needs a book to because I was just like, so I just feel like I've read her character so much that like I would need to have that aha moment. Like I didn't have an aha moment with Nesta, because I wanted to see what was behind that wall anyway from the jump. When I first read her, I was intrigued, and I'm not intrigued by Elaine, but I would definitely read Elaine's book over Tamlin's, because I would be interested in her challenging me as a reader, telling me there's more to her than just being like innocent and sweet and needing to be protected and like literally a delicate flower.
Right.
And I feel like we don't know much about her.
Yeah, we don't know much. So
yeah, this is my least favorite. I was telling her that too. I'm like, yeah, I'd like to see her make me actually want to learn more about her in a book. That would be a challenge for me. I would enjoy it.
It's interesting you said that, Tiffany, because I feel like, did you end up reading any bonus chapters for? Okay, so it's interesting that you said that, because I feel like she's making her more interesting because of that bonus chapter. So
I mean, is she?
I don't know, but it's like one of those. I feel like I gotta spice her up somewhere. Like
that made me feel like, is she so sweet? I don't want to get into it, but I'm just like, everyone's over here so hard on Nesta, which they should be. She's, you know, I'm not gonna like sugarcoat her BS. But I'm just saying, like, everyone's over here attacking Nesta, and like Elaine's over here doing shady, underhanded disrespect. That's all I'm gonna say. Like it's kind of like
a little passive aggressive, that one.
it's not above and beyond try, but you're over here. I'm sorry. So
you know what you're getting with Nesta. I like Nesta because you knew you're getting a bull. Like you knew that's what you're going in for, and I'm here for that. Like I love Nesta. I think what was it, that Instagram page where you like had to like say who you were? I was Nesta. Like awesome.
You were Nesta. I was like, oh my god. I keep getting FaRo. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I think the questions should have been mixed up. I know. I thought I was FaRo too.
I want to be Amryn. Like I think I'm more Amryn.
Yeah. Okay, last question, and then I'll let you guys go because I know you have lives other than to chat with me because I'm like, I could keep you on here forever. Sorry, guys. Okay, last question. Let's say people are getting tired of fantasy romance for reading wise. What shows can you guys recommend for fantasy romance, period? Like things that are on TV, things you guys watch. What are things you guys watch for fantasy romance?
You need to watch the Vikings. I'm obsessed with Norse mythology. So, it might take a couple of, I love that show for the Norse mythology. I love that show because it starts out you start out kind of being an outsider. This is we know how they're raiders, and it's a pagan mythology, if you want to call it that. And you start out being like an outsider looking in, and then it just becomes very familiar, and you're not sure where your allegiance lies. And I love that play on play. So I love the Vikings. And it's like incredibly historically accurate. Like you could geek out on that too. And like Ragnar's Han. Like so.
That's so funny. I'm totally Team Rolo in that regard. But
I'm all about like let's all get to like they're both hot. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But
I don't know. It's not that historically accurate once you get out of the first 4 seasons and there's no Rolo and Ragnar anymore.
Yeah, then
that show kind of fell
watching it
for me after that.
Same.
And then it was like the only one I wanted to watch was Bjorn. At that point, you know, I was like, he's the only one I care about now. Him and the other brother, the other one that's the blue eyes and the they ends up with his ex-wife. I can't remember his name off the top of my head.
I can't remember his name either.
But he ends up with Bjorn's wife.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Do you guys ever watch The Witcher? Does anybody watch it?
It was good, but who doesn't want to watch
I only turned that on because the advertisement was Henry Cavill with his shirt off. Like it was like literally that was like the advertisement. So
in the bathtub.
On that.
Carnival Row is good too.
Oh, that one is so good. Carnival Row.
Carnival Row is
watch
good.
that because Orlando Bloom. You know, come on. You know, ever since Legolas, guys. You know.
Right.
Okay, and then, there's another one we need to talk about, guys, because Levi did go, and it's the Shadow and Bone series coming out. So
I'm excited for that.
I freaking Kaz Bleeker. That's all I'm gonna say. Has anybody on the live actually read Six of Crows? Like, I'm just curious, guys.
I can't remember who that guy is, but he played Pin in a show about horses. The guy that plays Kaz Brecker. So I was excited when I saw him coming into it. Right. I was like, "Oh my god, it's Pin!" It's another Netflix show that my girls watch.
It's so funny, and you'll learn this about me as I say all my characters' names incorrectly. So literally, it's like I read it correctly and then I just say it correctly. But so if you guys have not read Six of Crows, please put that somewhere on your. I know it's YA, which I know everybody's kind of growing out of YA, especially since our authors are moving to adult fantasy. But please put it somewhere on your TBR. Six of Crows was fabulous. But yeah, that and the Shadow and Bone series is all turning into the Shadow and Bone series on Netflix. But I'm very excited. They're kind of mixing two together, which is new. Like I've never seen an author, or maybe they have before and I just haven't seen it, where they're mixing two series together. So that's going to be interesting take on that.
Yeah, I'm curious how they're doing that.
Well, aren't they both part of her Grishaverse thing, or are they not? Sort of.
Well,
they are, but it's like they never
like
intertwine. They're like on different islands, right?
That worries me.
it's after the Grisha have
Right.
basically been disbanded, essentially. So it is interesting because, I mean, the Darkling isn't even a part of SOC at all.
Right, but aren't they on different like continents too? Like when she's writing the books, I thought that they were on different like islands or something.
I haven't read Six of Crows.
But honestly, I would have to look at like their inbound maps, that she has
Right.
the book to really be sure about that.
Right.
But they don't really have like any. It's very lightly related.
Right. So, I mean, because I know she's pulling her best characters. So, literally, she's taking both those universes and pulling her best characters. So, I feel like it could be awesome. Like, when you take all the good characters and put them in one series, we'll see how it goes.
Are they letting her in, like, have influence in the writer's room? Did they let her have it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I'm like, that makes me nervous.
She was in there a lot, like always on the set and posting photos when she was allowed to.
Okay.
Well, it's definitely, and also with tons of them with the cast. Yeah.
I just hope they do better with the Darkling.
I'm excited for him.
I want more of him.
Right. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to give my honest opinion. We might be doing a live of the Shadow and Bone series because if it ends up being where it's like a rant, this could go down really fast. Like,
I have a question though. So I read Six of Crows, and then I read what is it?
The Grisha trilogy,
The Crooked Kingdom. I read the duology, and then I read Shadow of Bone because I know the Netflix series, and I didn't like Shadow and Bone.
I did not like Shadow and Bone either.
I enjoyed Shadow and Bone.
The Darkling was interesting, but then it was completely different. I was like,
yep.
Why?
Exactly.
I know.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, we can go on about how wrong she did the Darkling.
Yeah.
Over and over again.
Yep. That's why hopefully the show they do better with him because I'm like, I'm not watching if it's going to be the same as the books. I want it to go different.
But it's weird though, because I read Six of Crows first, and I think that's where I went wrong because I feel like Six of Crows was amazing. Like that to me was just like the highest, everything about that. And then I went to the Grisha trilogy and I was just like, oh, like it was like I feel like maybe that was her first set. And then this, how an author like progresses with the writing. And I just feel like she just hit a home run with that for sure. So maybe it was just underwhelming because I read that second. Plus, let's not even talk about the King one that she came out with. Still waiting for her to finish that. What is it? King of Scars.
King of Scars.
Yeah.
Wolves comes out in March.
Which that's it. That was a hanger. How long have we been hanging on that book for? Like 2 years, 2.5.
Wow.
Okay, I'll give her COVID because that's not fair to any author. So I'll give her COVID. But we've been hanging out for a while. So, but any other suggestions for movies in case the people want to kick on a movie or something and just not read the whole month?
I really liked the Winx Saga. I mean, it was apparently a cartoon. Never watched it. Don't know anything about it. So I just watched the show itself, and I was like, I really liked it. I was unfortunate. It's only 6 episodes.
There's a Netflix show called The Last Kingdom. That one's. I know you mentioned Vikings, which is really good. It's really good. But The Last Kingdom is really, really cool. I thought it was really cool because I felt like it was very kind of historically accurate the way that they followed the characters. So that was a good one too.
Awesome. Yeah, because I feel like with all this reading, sometimes has like a good palate cleanser is to like watch a show and then kick back into a book. So like when you're reading 300, well, I get to 100 or 150, but whoever's reading their 20 books for the year or 50 or whatever you're doing, even if you're reading 2 books a year, that's fine. Just get your palate cleanser and then kick back into it. So I feel like that's probably, and I'm like, I feel like there's not a ton of fantasy romance out there so far, but I'm hoping Bridgerton, fingers crossed, changes that for all genres. Like I'm hoping that they do historical romance and then kick into fantasy romance. Like
I do too. They need to start because they buy them, they option stuff, but they need to start taking them out the fall and making them. So I hope so too.
Right. That Cruel Prince got bought. Like Cruel Prince.
Oh, did it? I didn't know that.
Yeah, it got bought, and for some reason, you know, I don't know what they're doing.
And
with
it's like produce it. It's like they have the rights, and then like they'll buy you, auction it.
It doesn't go
I
anywhere.
don't know how much I can say for work. Like they auction it, and then like they own the rights, no one else can make it, and then it just sits there in the vault, and then you have to have someone kind of go back and like see that and come up, pitch ideas, and then someone's got to write it. So like I want them to start taking them out of the vault now that like Bridgerton is really popular. Like,
right.
You know, because
if you could talk to anybody, tell them fantasy romance, especially with Fae, I would be like, tell them this is like the next Twilight. Let's be honest here. Like if they could produce this correctly, this could be the next Twilight. I mean, honestly, like, I don't know. I could be totally biased on that one, but I just feel like she's already got 500,000 people reading it, maybe more. I don't even know. Like right there, that's 500,000 movie. But I know they need to sell like billions and billions of movies, but still, like you've got a base, you know, that people like.
They need to make it adult. I'm sorry. Like there was enough sex in Harry Potter. I know they were kids, but these are adults. Like, well, we need it to be like sexy.
Right, we're right. I mean, and they could totally just rewrite it for adults. I mean, that's pretty much what they did with Twilight. I know they say it's YA, but like really, like they acted so adult. It's like I wouldn't consider. Maybe the first one was YA, but they ended at adult. There's no way.
So. I felt that too because I was like, who's like she's sitting in this chair for seasons upon. What scene didn't we see, girl? Because if you are that depressed, I'm done. But I would like it to be adult-ish. Like, let's get the nudity clearances.
Right.
The coaches. That would be really nice.
Yeah. I mean, Bridgerton, they saw how successful it was. So,
yeah.
Absolutely.
And I feel like they amped up those from the books.
Yeah.
Brooklyn Reed's mentioned Discovery Witches. That's a great show, actually. Has any of you guys watched that one yet or read it?
I've been meaning to read and watch it.
Because, like, I mean, I was going to show this. I actually went out of my way to buy the UK covers because I love it so much.
I've heard it's really good.
It's really good. And the show is really good, too.
Yeah, I like the first season. I haven't read the books, though, so I'm like, I feel like I'm off with that. Like, I've seen the show, but not read the book.
Which is funny. I watched the first season before I read the books, and I think that that's a good thing in my case. I mean, but what they changed wasn't enough for it to like matter to me. And the author's really involved with all of it too. So it doesn't bother me when the author kind of gets behind it, you know?
And it's good.
Better.
The only thing I could say is I wish that they had more Gallo Glass in season 2. That's really my only complaint, you know?
Yeah.
That's it.
No, that's good. Like, I mean, honestly, it's definitely like when you're doing it's hard for people to adapt books because everybody's going to have their opinion on those books. Like, we've loved them, we've grown up with them, whatever. And people are going to definitely have their take on like what would make it better. And sometimes I wish they would have just asked like this. Like, I'm not going to lie because I talked to Christy about this. I've always read Sarah J. Maas. I've always read her. This year, I actually listened to this book. I'm going to let you know right now, the audio was not great. Like, it didn't change my...
Have you seen the comments?
No, I haven't.
I bought it last night, and I went into the review section, and I felt so bad for the narrator because people are upset. The Audible reviews are really bad.
She could have fixed it really easy, really easy. It's not even the narrator's fault. She needed a cast. She's Sarah J. Maas, literally, what is it, Sahaba Tahir? Did I just mess up her name? Sahaba, I'm sorry if I did. She has a full cast, okay? Like, she totally has a full cast. When you have this big a fan base for this series, hire a second person. Like,
I'm not like they don't have the money for it.
Yeah.
No, that's what I was saying. Like, Jake Kristoff has a full cast.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
I know
it's like Harry. I want to hear a dude play a dude.
Right. I know she can afford this. I know she
like tries to pitch her voice to sound like she's the guy character.
Right.
Like, no thanks. I don't want to listen to this.
The woman didn't do so bad, but it was just like some of the things I could definitely see her like struggling with. And I was just like, when you have such a big release like this, where people are going out of their way buying multiple books, like, spend the extra money, get that guy voice in there, and really get Cassian's voice to, you know.
Yeah, we get both of their point of views, so it would make sense to have two narrators.
Right. It's different when you have a guy it's a woman's point of view and the guy occasionally is in there, then you could get away with one narrator, no problem. But when you have two POVs, that's two actors you need. You need two. You can't get away with one. And it's just like, for me, that seemed kind of, I don't know, because I love her, so I hate talking bad about any author, but it seemed a little cheap for me. Like, I don't know. I felt like she could have spent that money and did that. I love Sarah J. Maas. I'll buy everything from her. It doesn't matter. But I would really love a good audiobook from her eventually. Like, that should definitely be. And I don't know where to request that. Like, where do I put my
reviews? If we're going to do something, I was really surprised because I looked at the reviews and I was like, oh my God, across the board. So, like, reviews, because they'll see them.
Yeah.
It makes me feel bad.
About reviews, a lot of people were angry at the covers, but they didn't change them.
Oh,
true.
You know what, though? But this is what I think, though, is that, you know how she comes out with, like, at book 5, or wait, this is book 5. At book 6, she'll come out with, like, a whole new set of covers. Another thing I kind of get, I'm not super okay with is her doing, like, multiple cover changes through her whole series, so she resells all the books again. Like,
yeah, like in the middle of the series, that's annoying.
Right. Or like she gives one chapter here and one chapter there, and you have to go buy like 7 different books to get all these different chapters. I'm like, I get it, girl. Go get it whenever you need. But like, I don't know, for someone like me, I just want to read the chapters.
We have here in the comments, write to the publisher.
Yeah. I definitely feel like absolutely. Because I'm like, it's one of those things where I love her to death. So I never want to talk bad about my favorite authors, you know? So it's like one of those things. But when you see them like try to get extra money out of their patrons or like not put in the full effort to something, I'm like, I don't know. Like, yeah.
Has she done this with the ACOTAR series before? Will she'll give like Barnes and Noble one chapter and Books a Million another?
They did do multiple editions with
they did that with Target though.
I don't know about the ACOTAR.
Target one chapter and Barnes and Noble's another chapter.
Because Tower of Dawn did too. Tower of Dawn had a Target edition. It had like a Barnes and Noble edition and then another one.
Because for me, it's like if you're gonna put an extra chapter and put it in a whole like separate book to where like you have to buy one or the other or buy both to just read that chapter, it better be a really good chapter. And I read Azrael and Feyre and Reese chapter, and I was like, both of those, like I would have been livid if I bought both to just get both just to read it. I think like the power of internet now, but like I don't understand. I never get that for any. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're small or bigger. I don't understand making your readers who are fans of every single character to get both chapters. You have to go buy both books. Like
why?
Yeah, she could have done like a pre-order bonus, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
Via email or something like that. Like don't put, it wasn't even that long of a chapter. Both of them were.
They're like 10 pages 10, 11 pages. Quote me on this, guys.
Not worth it. I was like,
it wasn't. It was like catnip because I was like, oh, I'm getting it, and then
right. And here's the thing too, which is funny because I got 3 books. Okay, and this is what happened. One book came with like me getting the interview because you got to see her interview and you got a book. Another book came with the Illumicrate ones because I got the Illumicrate editions. So when
the dust jackets.
The dust jackets, thank you. And then that book came with one. And then I got the Barnes and Noble's edition because I wanted a special chapter in the back. So literally, like, I did get 3 editions, but I'm giving away 2. So bottom line, if you guys are following me on Instagram, when I get the books in, 2 books because I'm like, I don't need 3 of the same book. But anyway, yeah. So I mean, I was getting other things with them, so it was like,
that's
okay.
Like, for Blood and Ash, they have the $155 bookish box thing. I definitely bought that because I want that special edition covers.
Right.
But like, even if I love JLA, if she comes out with her next book and it's like, okay, well, this publisher or this company gets this chapter, I'm like, I'm not buying both.
Right, exactly. I just feel like you're squeezing out of your loyal followers, and I'm like, I don't know if I love that.
And then you hear about the audiobook. I'm like, so you're doing this for just a chapter, but you can't put the time and effort into audiobooks when audiobooks are so big right now. Like they're so big. I'm like,
Well, and here's the thing though, like not everybody could read this book. Like people, I don't think that their experience, I mean, if it was a smaller author, I get it. You've got your one person, but she's a big author.
Yeah, she's making money.
Right. She could afford 2 actors to do this. And like, I looked at the person who was doing the audio. You know how many audios she's done for fantasy romance is like 3. She did JLA. She did JLA, which I don't know if it was a full cast or not for JLA. The new book she did the first 2 for her, and she's done Sarah J. Maas. And that's the only fantasy romance I think that's the only fantasy she's done. So I thought that was really interesting that all her.
Yeah, why didn't she go with the narrators that she had with her, Throne of Glass and Press
so many reviews. I feel bad for the new narrator. I mean, it's like voiceover work. I'm happy for her resume, but then I just, I feel like she wasn't set up properly by being supported by a full cast, and it's really sad.
Well, yeah, and I did.
Listeners, like.
Oh, sorry, Tiffany. Go ahead.
No, I'm done.
No, I really did like Elizabeth Evans. Melissa had said this because I liked her Crescent City one. And actually, I don't mind her Throne of Glass one either. But like when you're a mom of like 3 kids trying to move, like there is no way in heck I could sit down and read this book. If I wanted to read it, I had to listen to it. And the whole time, Christy and Jen were like, stop listening to the audio. Go to your physical copy of this book. And I'm like, I can't. I have to get the laundry done. I can't do it.
I was like, don't let it ruin your experience of the book.
Right. And I think my experience wasn't as good as theirs because they're like, this is the best book I've ever read. And I'm like, it was good and I loved it. And like, I tried to look past the experience of like the actual book, but I'm going to go back and physically read it when I have time. I'm going to physically read the book because I feel like it's going to be a different experience for me.
One thing I've realized for myself, and I don't know if other people are like this, but with fantasy romance or fantasy books, I have to physically read it, whether it's like,
oh yeah, me too.
Like
I can't listen to them.
Yeah, no.
Unless I've already read them.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. I couldn't imagine like the Throne of Glass series. I could have easily gotten it on audio.
Right.
Through my library or something like that. But I was like, I need to physically read them. Like, one, because I go back and reread them and then I mark them up. But for me, it just makes it more of like an immersive experience. And some people might think the opposite and think, no, I need the audio. But if the audio is good. So for me, if I have to leave it up to the audio to decide whether it's a good experience, I'm just going to say screw it and just like immerse myself in a new world and just do the physical, old school type thing. And I'll do audiobooks for other stuff or I'll listen to it again later.
I'm the same way. I gotta read it. I have to read it. Like my eyes hurt. Thankfully, like I felt so bad for a lot of my friends that were like, I pre-ordered the physical book. It's not here on time. Now I have to get the ebook. Like my cousin's like, I'm getting the audiobook, because I can't sit here. And so she ended up having to like buy all 3, which she didn't necessarily want to buy all 3 forms, but that's how the cookie crumbled with that. But like, I definitely like to sit down and read. That's why like Throne of Glass is taking me a minute because I'm reading so many other things.
Right. You want to clear your schedule.
Yeah. So I've kind of like kept that like on the back burner. It's taking me a while, but like, I definitely appreciate just being able to like read it.
And that was a whole other thing. I don't know what happened with the pre-orders. I think I talked to Jess on Instagram because she was like saying that she didn't get her pre-order. It didn't even ship until like Tuesday. And I took like the whole day off of work to read this book because I've never pre-ordered. I don't usually pre-order hard like physical copies. I do ebooks.
Right.
And I was like, you know what? No, I have all the copies I wanted. And it didn't even ship. Like I ordered this weeks ago and it didn't even ship until Tuesday. And I was so mad. So then I had to buy the ebook.
Right.
And $9 isn't that much, but to other people, that's a lot of money. Like
money, yeah.
So I didn't understand the whole, like, you've had this for months, you've had these copies for months. Why couldn't you send them out? Even if like, but that's the thing. Some people I saw were getting them on Tuesday or on Monday. They were like, I have a copy. I was like, who the hell sent that to you? Because I don't know one.
Right.
Like,
I don't know. I drove into town to get my copy.
Right. Me and Christy drove in on the same day. We got the same day.
If I would have done that,
you don't get the book on the day it comes out.
I wouldn't have pre-ordered. I just would drove to my Barnes and Noble and picked it up, and
Yeah.
Same. Yeah, my pre-order was like, it was saying it wouldn't be shipped until March. So I'm like, I ordered this last summer. Like, what was the point of the pre-order? So I got the ebook, and then the day of, got the Barnes and Noble copy.
Yeah, see, anytime I have ever pre-ordered a book from Barnes & Noble, it never is here by the release date. I think that one of the first big ones I ordered was actually Kingdom of Ash, and I remember that when I met Carrie there, I hadn't even read it yet because I wanted that special edition from B&N, and so I was waiting because, you know, I'm like, well, I just want my physical copies, and so I hadn't gotten it yet before I had to go out for the tour. And then, of course, I got my tour copy, so I was just like, well, I'm going to start reading it now, finally. And since then, I have never depended on getting Barnes & Noble on time. Like, they're not like Amazon. And even sometimes Amazon doesn't get it on release day.
Amazon's
you know,
a mess too,
if there's delays, you know. But definitely more likely with them to get it in a reasonable amount of time than Barnes & Noble. It's usually like a week or so late from them for me.
What would your strategy be for like to just to physically go in and get the book?
Yeah, well, and I know that like the special edition of the new book was sold out online, whereas they only have copies in person. So if you like what I actually did that day was I went on at 6 a.m. on release day and I ordered it for pickup. And when I got there, there were 3 copies left. And I was telling Carrie that like mine was behind the desk with the guy and he picked up one of the last 3 copies I had in the store. Like, and I know it wasn't in there because I went and looked around before I went and grabbed my copy at the desk because I wanted to see if I wanted any other books while I was there. I can't help look around, you know, but
yeah, a lot of people like called in to make sure to reserve their copy and then go pick it up in store.
Yeah, I did it online. Like
I did mine too. And just did the local
o'clock in the morning. And then I drove like 40 minutes away to go get it because, of course, there's no bookstore in the smaller city by me because, you know, whatever. People aren't as literate as you would expect them to be these days in general. You know, it shocks me that I don't have any like independent bookstores around me. But it's not as big here. It's not LA. We don't have the Rip Bodice, unfortunately.
It's far from there though, huh, Carrie? Like, we don't have... Like, I want to be like where you're at, Christy. Like, I want these, and even in Atlanta, like these, like just great, like smaller stores. Like, you gotta like, cause what Rip Bodice? I mean, it's not that far, but it's still like 50 minutes away.
Right? It's like
traffic.
Yeah, it's not close to that.
We don't really have like. I want the gems. Okay, I want stats. And we don't really have like bookstores like that. I wish we did.
No, I mean, I live outside of Reno, Nevada.
Okay.
That's, Carson City's the capital, but it's obviously a lot smaller than Reno, and there are no bookstores.
Right. That's hard to do.
Drive all the way to Reno.
And that's why it's good. Like, just so you guys know, like, that's why your library is awesome because they're starting to do like audio online. Like, that's where I picked up A Touch of Darkness, but that The Ravishing Romance is doing this month is because it's free on Hoopla. So literally it's like book 1, 1.5, and book 2 are all free on Hoopla right now. I don't know if different areas get different books. You guys know that if different areas get different books for. And I know this is for the United States, guys. Sorry,
your libraries have to pay for it or something.
Is Hoopla through your library?
Right. Yes.
Yeah, and like Alaska, they don't pay for Hoopla. We don't have it up here.
But do you guys have Overdrive or?
Yeah, we have Libby.
Yeah. I didn't check Libby though because I feel like some of them have better things than others. Does that sound right?
Have better
audiobooks, right?
Have like better
selection,
right?
Well, yeah. If the library is bigger, there are more patrons, then they definitely have more money to buy more books.
Yeah, gotcha.
Like I use the LA Public Library, and they have such a huge selection, including a lot of indies. And like some friends in like not popular cities, they don't have a lot of books like that.
I didn't even know you could do that, Lacey. Like, I'm DMing you after this.
I mean, I got an address. I can use whatever.
Because I use the Hoopla in my area, but I don't use the LA County area, which I probably need to start doing that because I feel like maybe LA County gets a little more.
And they're still doing digital library cards, I think.
Yeah. Yep. So, okay, I know we're on for a really long time and I'm sure you guys have to go, but before we head out, I know a couple of you do other things. So please, I know Lacey, you're doing a couple things. Please shout it out so people know about it. And I know Tori and whoever else is doing stuff. Oh, and Tiffany, you have something coming up too, right? So just whoever wants to give your 2 cents or tell what you're doing for the month or whatever, like.
Well, this Saturday night, is our live show for the book club, Ravished by Romance. We're talking about the Scarlett St. Clair book, Touch of Darkness. So if you read it, you can join us.
And that's on your channel, right, Lacey?
Yes.
Tiffany, what do you got?
Charles, Books on Stereo. We're going to be interviewing Jodie Slaughter on the 26th, 6 p.m. PST and 9 Eastern Standard. So that should be fun.
That's going to be so fun. Oh my goodness. So is she coming on and like, do you?
Yeah, we're going to interview her. We're reading all 3 of her books. And yeah, it's like just on time for the Black Authors Readathon. So that should be a lot of fun because I want to meet her. She binges a lot of TV, so I have questions. Inspirations and all that.
Right. Tori, what do you got?
I don't have any live shows. I mean, like,
Your podcast.
yeah, I have an episode tomorrow coming out. I did Love Only Once. So that was the Historical Hellions pick for February, and they talked about it. And I was like, wow, I really enjoyed this. So I kind of go into like interested to see what her older writing was because this was published in 1985 compared to her new. And I talk a little bit about that. So it's a little episode. It's a little shorter, but I have that. And then I have my YouTube channel, what do I have next? I don't know what I have next.
You just read all of Sarah McLean's.
I just came out today that I read all of Sarah McLean's books. And, you know, it took me a while, but I was actually really happy I did that. I've never done an author binge like that. I think it was because of Lacey. I saw
my Julia Quinn binge.
I would do that. So it took me.
I have 2 more series left. It's taken me 3 months to get through them all.
Oh my gosh, that's impressive.
That's what I did with Kerrigan Byrne. I just like that's what I did with her. I just like went and read the entire series like back to back. Like I'm just gonna keep going. I like the other one I bought. I went and bought like 3 of her series all together with Suzanne Enoch. I was like, okay, so she's next.
Right. And then also Lacey did a review for the Court of Silver Flames. So I'm really interested to see what she thought of that because now that I've read it, I can go spoil myself with everybody else's stuff. And then also don't forget, and then they're also doing, I forget who's doing the Kindle clean out.
I think
Jen
Crystal.
Crystal.
Is Bree doing it?
Bree's doing it. Like
I
there's
think
so
Justin.
yeah, they're all doing the Kindle clean out, which we all need. I mean, honestly, I don't even want to look at my Kindle. I literally like don't even show me anymore. Like it's sad. There's so many books on there. And then don't forget to follow Lacey, who I made at Sarah J. Maas, and then also Christy because they have fabulous posts on Instagram. So go follow them. And I hope you guys. This was so much. Thank you guys for coming on. Oh my goodness, like I think I'm sorry I kept you out for an hour and 45 minutes. You're like, I'm never signing up for Sarah again. I just know I'm going to be on there.
Fun.
It was.
Anyways, I'll talk to you guys later and thanks for